Pastor Jack and Pastor Rob the opportunity to come and share. I am a husband and a father. I've got a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old. And my 2-year-old, she says good morning every single morning. She's very respectful. She knocks on her door, she comes in to my side of the bed, by the way, and she says, good morning. Now the thing is that on some mornings, this is at 6:15 a.m. Other mornings, it's at 5:15 a.m. And this past Thursday morning, it was at 2:48 a.m. because she came and said good morning. But that's the joys of parenting a toddler, right? That she is sweet with our daughters. We love them so dearly. And as Rob mentioned, we do know each other pretty well. We did work together for several years at Bay Hope Church, now Bay Hope Church. We changed the name from Van Dyke Church. And I actually roomed, my office was next to Rob's. And so all I can tell you about that experience is I feel your pain. And so I understand what you're going through right now, having Rob. And people have been asking me in between the services and after the service, and my answer is no, we will not take him back, okay? He's all yours. He's all yours, Calvary. No. Rob's a great guy. He's a great role model for me to look up to in ministry, and it was great to serve alongside him, and I'm very grateful to be with you here this morning. Now, we also can look in Scripture for role models, right? There's all these wonderful stories of people in the Word of God that we can look to, we can draw from their stories and from their lives and draw strength from them. Now, if you're a young person, you might look to someone like Timothy. Timothy started his ministry very young. And in fact, Paul had his famous words for Timothy when he said, don't let anyone look down on you because you are young. Right? To stand firm, to minister to people who are in need, no matter what your age is. You know, for our ladies in the congregation today, there's wonderful examples of women in Scripture like Esther and Ruth and Mary, strong, independent women who did so much for the kingdom of God. They're great examples. When I was in seminary, a lot of the people that I was in seminary with, they wanted to be like the Apostle Paul, right? Paul was this amazing preacher. He would travel the world, and he was just on fire for the gospel and impacted people wherever he went. And so a lot of people in seminary, their model is the Apostle Paul. I happen to make kind of have a deep connection with the Apostle Peter. And you guys know Peter, right? Peter's the one who, when Jesus is walking on the water out towards the disciples, Peter's the one with the faith to step out of the boat, and he's walking towards Jesus. He's the only other person in recorded history to walk on water, but yet he allows himself to be distracted by the winds and the waves around him. He starts sinking in the water, and Jesus has to pick him up and rescue him. And what are those famous words that he says to Peter? He says, "O ye of little faith." And now none of the other disciples even got out of the boat, but Peter had little faith. I thought Jesus was a little harder on there, but that's Peter. Peter was also the guy that Jesus has begun his ministry. He's recruited his disciples, and he says to his disciples, "Who do people say that I am?" And they say, well, some people say you're a wise teacher. You know, some people say you're this and you're that. And Peter says, or Jesus asks the disciples, "Who do you say that I am?" And Peter looks at Jesus and he says, "You're the Christ, the Son of the living God." And that's the first time in Scripture that someone has identified Jesus as the Son of God in his earthly ministry. And yet, a couple of verses later, Peter gets confused about the necessity of the cross, and Jesus turns and looks at Peter and says, "Get behind me, Satan." And so what we see over and over again in Peter's life are these high highs and these low lows. And can anyone else identify with that? You know, for me, sometimes my faith is just rock solid, and I'm ready to take the hill for Jesus. Other times, I'm kind of down in the pits, and I'm not really wanting to do anything. I'm kind of wanting to throw myself a little pity party, right? Does anyone else ever do that? You know, I'm right there with Peter in times of great, great faith, and times, I also have times of good faith as well. We all remember probably the most famous story of Peter's, and that's when he denied Jesus after his arrest. And so that's where we're going to pick up the story. That's what the beginning of that Rob just read in Luke chapter 22. And what you see in verse 50 there is, verse 49, it says, "When the other disciples saw what was about to happen, they exclaimed, 'Should we fight?' And so Jesus had been praying in the Garden of Gethsemane. He knew his arrest was coming. He knew that these men were coming to arrest him. And one of them, it says in verse 15, struck the high priest's slave, slashing off his right ear. Now, the book of John tells us which disciple sliced off the ear of the slave. And you know who it was? It was Peter. Peter, our bold, impetuous friend, slices off the ear of that high priest slave, and that gentleman's name is Malchus. But Jesus said to him, he said, no more of this. And he touched the man's ear and he healed him. And then Jesus spoke to the leading priests and captains of the temple, and he says to the elders who come from him, am I some dangerous revolutionary that you come with swords and clubs to arrest me? Why didn't you arrest me in the temple? I was there every day. But this is your moment. The time and the power of darkness reigns. And so they arrested him and led him to the high priest's home, and Peter followed at a distance. Now earlier, before the Garden of Gethsemane, the disciples were eating together with Jesus in the upper room. And Jesus was explaining what's occurring here in the story. He's explaining his arrest. He's explaining his crucifixion. And he tells the disciples, he said, look, you're all going to turn away from me. You're all going to kind of tuck tail and run when this time comes. And what does Peter say? With his bold faith, with his just impetuous personality, he says, no, not me, Jesus. I will never deny you. And in fact, I would lay down my life for you. But what do we read in Scripture that Jesus says to Peter? He says, Peter, you're going to deny me before tomorrow morning. 3 times before the rooster crows, you are going to deny me. So let's pick up the story in verse 55. It says, the guards lit a fire in the middle of the courtyard and sat around it, and Peter joined them there. Now, remember that fire. We're going to come back to that. The servant girl noticed him in the firelight and began staring at him. Finally, she said, this man was one of Jesus' followers. Now, here comes denial number 1. Peter denied it. Woman, he says, I don't even know him. And after a while, someone else looked at him and said, you must be one of them. And here's denial number 2. No, man, I am not, Peter retorted. And about an hour later, someone else insisted, this must be one of them because he is a Galilean too. And here's that third denial. But Peter said, man, I don't know what you're talking about. And immediately, while he was still speaking, the rooster crowed. At that moment, the Lord turned and looked at Peter, and suddenly the Lord's words flashed through Peter's mind. Before the rooster crows tomorrow morning, you will deny me 3 times that you ever knew me. And Peter left the courtyard weeping bitterly. Now, there's a whole lot that we could unpack in this particular passage, but what I want to focus on this morning is the compassion of Jesus. And we're going to see that Jesus has compassion not only for physical, material needs, but he has a different kind of spiritual compassion as well that he bestows on people. So we see the immediate compassion of Jesus for Malchus. Malchus has come to arrest him. He's part of this band that's come to arrest Jesus. That Jesus knows they've come to drag him away, put him before a mock trial where they're going to find him guilty of crimes that he didn't commit, and that he's going to be a part of this group that's going to beat him and scourge him, and then make him carry his own instrument of death to his crucifixion. Peter knows, or Jesus knows, that Malchus is a part of that group. And yet when Peter strikes off and cuts the ear of Malchus, Jesus says, no, that's not what I'm about. And he actually heals Malchus with a physical healing. The compassion of Jesus is for our physical well-being. It's for our material well-being as well. I looked at your bulletin and I saw the wonderful things that you guys do here in your community to help meet the material needs and to help be the hands and feet of Jesus to the people in your surrounding community. And I commend you for that because you're doing just what Jesus would do by showing compassion to other people. But there's a third kind of compassion, and that's what we're going to talk about today. And that's the idea that Jesus shows spiritual compassion on us as well. Listen to the words of Mark 6:34. It says, when Jesus landed and saw a large crowd, he had compassion on them because they were like sheep without a shepherd. So he began teaching them many things. You see, they were spiritually sick. They needed spiritual healing in their lives. And sometimes that's the compassion of Jesus that we need. It's not so much a physical compassion. It's not so much about meeting our material needs. But we need spiritual compassion from our Lord and our Savior. And we're going to talk about that today. And that's what Peter needed. Peter was in a time of shame. He was in a time of heavy guilt in his life. And we're going to see that he is able to reconcile with Jesus because of the compassion that Jesus showed him. Now, I told you to remember verse 55. It says, the guards lit a fire in the middle of the courtyard and sat around it. Peter's around the fire too, and he's there for several hours. Okay? Now, what the book of John tells us is that is actually a charcoal fire. In fact, it's the only time that the word charcoal fire, there's only 2 times, we're going to talk about a book today, that the term charcoal fire is used in the New Testament. Now, I brought my trusty Weber grill here with me today. Now, I wanted to light it up and have something for you after church. Rob told me I wasn't allowed, so you're going to have to put that on him. But I love this thing. This is my charcoal grill. I love to grill out on it. Does anyone else like to grill? You like to grill meat? That sort of thing? Anyone else into that? Yeah, I see a couple hands here and there. Anyone grilling after church today? Because I don't have lunch plans yet, so I was thinking I could come over. We can get to know each other really well. Do some hamburgers and hot dogs. Yeah, absolutely. Man, we love to really enjoy grilling out food. But so Peter's here. He's denied Jesus, and he's denying Jesus in the middle of that, and he's standing around charcoal fire. Now, we mentioned that with the kids. What happens when we stand around the fire? We begin to smell like the fire. We have the aroma of that fire kind of wafting through our noses and our senses, and we see the ash and we see the red embers. And so this was the physical surroundings of Peter as he's making these denials of Jesus. And so what do you think happened every single day when they're lighting fires in Jerusalem for the meals, when they're lighting fires to keep warm? He's smelling that smell every single day. That smell is bringing him back to his guilt and his shame. Every single day, I would imagine that Peter smells a charcoal fire. It brings him back to the time that he denied Jesus. And it must have produced so much guilt and shame in Peter's life. Now, I've got a question for you today. Do we ever do that? Do we ever make mistakes in our life and then we let that tape play in our head every single day? And do we have certain things that remind us of the mistakes that we've made? Maybe it's something you drive by on the way home and it reminds you of the mistake that you made. Maybe it's a person and when you see them, a family member or a friend, and your relationship is broken, and every time you see them, it just brings back guilt and shame in our life. Just the way that charcoal fire is bringing back guilt and shame in Peter's life. Yeah, we tend to do that to ourselves. But the good news is that for Jesus, his life didn't end in the grave. Amen? It continued to Easter Sunday morning when he was resurrected into a new life. And in the same way that Jesus' story didn't end at the crucifixion, Peter's story doesn't end at that charcoal fire. And so what happens is that Jesus' compassion interacted with Peter's shame and guilt. And when our shame and guilt interact with the compassion of Jesus, guess what wins every single time? The compassion of Jesus. And so we're going to look at that story, and we're going to look at how what was a shameful mistake in Peter's life becomes a source of great victory in his life. And it's going to be good news to us this morning as we go out of here and we remember that Jesus wants to shower compassion on us. And he wants us to show that compassion to other people in the world around us. So how does this take place? How does Jesus reconcile himself to Peter? Well, actually what he does is he takes Peter right back to the very same charcoal fire. After the resurrection, Jesus is starting to appear to his disciples, but there's still no relational connection between Jesus and Peter. There's no example in Scripture of them ever speaking. And so Peter has gone back to Galilee, to this, where he's from. He's gone back to fishing what he did before he was a disciple. And so he's fishing one morning, and so there's a miracle story that's recorded. We don't have time to do that. But then he's coming back to shore, and who's there? Jesus is there. And Jesus is cooking fish. He's cooking breakfast over a charcoal fire for Peter and the disciples. And so what happens is can you imagine what's going on with Peter? As he sees Jesus, not only is it Jesus, not only have they not spoken since Peter denied him, but he is there with Jesus standing over a charcoal fire. And so can you imagine that as he's doing that, and he's same smells. He's smelling the same smells that he smelled after the garden when Jesus was arrested. And he's smelling, he's seeing the embers, these red embers blowing over the fire. And he's bringing all his feelings of guilt and shame are being brought back to him. And Jesus asks him 3 questions. And how many times did Peter deny Jesus? He denied him 3 times, right? So 3 times, standing over that second charcoal fire, Jesus turns to Peter and says, Peter, do you love me? Peter, do you love me? Peter, do you love me? And 3 times Peter is able to say to Jesus, yes, I love you. Yes, I love you. Yes, Lord. Final time he says, you know that I love you. You see, to overcome his past sin, he gained release from his shame. Jesus takes Peter right back to where those mistakes were made. But instead of offering shame, instead of offering guilt and condemnation, Jesus offers Peter grace. Jesus offers Peter love. Jesus offers Peter reconciliation. And you see, friend, when we encounter the compassion of Jesus in our lives, the place of our greatest pain, the place that brings us nothing but guilt and shame, can become the place of greatest victory. It's good news. And so what happens? What becomes of Peter after he's reconciled to Jesus? The New Testament tells us that Peter is one of the main leaders of the early church. He's integral in its spread in Jerusalem and around the surrounding areas. In fact, he's the first person to interact with a Gentile and help a Gentile understand that they can have a relationship with Jesus. And in fact, there's 2 books, 1st and 2nd Peter, that are towards the end of the New Testament, that are memoirs of sorts of Peter, that talk about this life of faith that he led for Jesus. And so, the beautiful part of the story is that even though Peter had disqualified himself, Jesus never disqualified him. And so, friends, sometimes we can disqualify ourselves. But Jesus is not disqualifying us. No, Jesus is there offering a hand of compassion to you. So as we look back on the story of the life of Peter, we think about how to respond to it. I think many of us in the room, maybe could fit into about 3 different categories. Some of us are stuck at that very first charcoal fire. That mistake that you made is on replay in your mind every single day. And you're constantly brought back to that reminder of something that brings guilt and shame and condemnation in your life. And Jesus is standing here right now with the offer of compassion to say, I forgive you, I love you, I want to reconcile with you. Come, be in a relationship with me. There's others of you right now, you may know a person who needs compassion. There might be a mountain in your life that needs physical healing, that needs a material need. Maybe they need spiritual healing, or they need someone to come alongside them on their spiritual journey. And maybe that's the type of reconciliation. It's not that you necessarily need reconciliation, but you need to be a minister of reconciliation, like we're called to in 2 Corinthians. Be the hands and feet of Jesus to someone else. And there's others of you right now that just the way that Peter's and Jesus' relationship was broken, your relationship with someone else is broken. And so right now, friend, what you need to do is you need to ask Jesus, ask that compassion and grace to move in and amongst you in that relationship that's broken and step in and move in a mighty and great way. So, friends, as we prepare to close in prayer together, my hope and my prayer for you today is that you won't let past mistakes keep you from a victorious life in Jesus. And that you will hit stop on that tape that's running in your head over and over again. And that, friend, if you've disqualified yourself from a relationship with Jesus, if you've disqualified yourself from being active in ministry and active in our world, that you would turn from that, because Jesus is not disqualify you. And my prayer for you is that if there's a broken relationship in your life, that God's grace would move in and amongst that relationship with a sibling or a friend or a loved one. And that God's grace would cover that relationship and bring reconciliation forward. Let's pray together. Lord, thank you for loving us when we are unlovable. Thank you for reorienting the charcoal fires in our life and offering us reconciliation to you. Lord, may we become ministers of reconciliation, to be the hands and feet of Jesus to a lost and hurting world around us. It is in your name that we pray these things. And all of God's people said, amen.